First things first, let me go ahead and say that regarding Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf in Texas, I don't know how much of this is about race and how much of this is about them being teenagers. But whenever black and white are involved in a conflict, they have to really know each other, and a conflict has to be very deeply rooted in something else in order for it to not be about race. If this is missing, then once one of those other elements are missing, then the fact that you've got one of each race in a conflict means that it becomes about race. It's no different than if you had an Israeli and a Palestinian, even if they were in Florida, but they get into a conflict or a lawsuit, take your pick. Once one is Israeli and the other one is Palestinian, or even if one is Zionist and he's not an Israeli citizen and the other one is Palestinian, then right off the bat, what you have is an inter-ethnic conflict. You know that the Metcalf's white when you see them, and you know that Carmelo Anthony is black when you see him. These are not unrecognizable members of their race. And so thus, we cannot deracialize it as much as we would like to and as convenient as that would be if we could. We don't have that capacity now. It's not an option that's left. And so therefore, we have to admit that what we're looking at is in fact another racial conflict, whether it's voluntarily or involuntarily so. With that being said, gentlemen, I've refrained from saying much about it because the question as to how much is racial is still not available. Well, the answer to that question is still not available. Also, I have not said much about it because, frankly, Professor Black Truth has not come out with his crime report regarding this yet. And when he does come out with a crime report, he has done his digging. He's seen the stats about it. This is normal for him. He's the best one to handle this. I can only tell you this. We're all affected by the racially hateful climate of the United States. Even I am. Whether I want to be or not, I'm affected by it. And here's why I say so. When I see the Metcalf's faces, those are the twins, I see white teenage jocks. And they come in two categories for the most part. They're either good old down-home rednecks that are going to become soldiers and police officers. They're going to become race soldiers. And while they're going to drape themselves in the American flag and say, "America, love it or leave it," and it's not about color, it's about culture, it's going to become about color because they're not going to be able to see the equality of different colors and people. Whatever the hell offends them is unforgivable. Whatever the hell offends you is something about which you need to stop being butthurt and get over it. You have a victim mentality when you are legitimately aggrieved, and they're legitimately aggrieved even if they just have a victim mentality. And so therefore, at the very least, at a subconscious level, they will not be able to see your equality. The other option for guys like that is that they become the ones we refer to as that cool-ass white boy, Cobb, or Cod, cool-ass white dude. And that's the one that can do a little bit of rap. He can make, bust a few dance moves. Maybe he can DJ. He got some black friends. He's good at a particular sport, especially if it's basketball. So, let him have some black friends, recite a few rap verses, play some basketball, shoot a few hoops, some three-pointers, a few slam dunks, and, he's in like Flynn. And as a matter of fact, that's the kind of guy that if a black woman does mistreat, it would only be because he's too black. Otherwise, she wouldn't mistreat him. So, with that being said, gentlemen, that's what you're looking at, and that's why it is that I generally abstain and refrain from saying much about this case right now. Except right now, I'm only going to say the following. One, I have a hard time, as I stated, seeing the humanity in them when I look at them and I don't know them. When I see somebody white and I know them, then I can assess their humanity based on what I know of them. And I do give every single individual a chance to show me who they are, good and bad. I won't say good or bad, but good and bad, since we're usually a mixture of the two as human beings. But when I see these guys, these white guys, and I don't know them, right off the bat, I get nervous. I have to. Because I have to protect myself. Walaikum salam. So, with that being said, I think this happens to a lot of us. A lot of us have a rough time seeing the humanity in them when we don't know them, and that's not our fault. And when I say the humanity, I mean we see them as people for the most part, but we don't see them as egalitarian. We see them as more aggressive than we would see other people. We see them as being maybe even more aggressive than not only a tiger, but a hungry tiger might be. And that's pretty aggressive. That's scary even to me. Many of us have that view because we've had to in order to survive. We expect aggression from them, and that's not our fault. It was always within their control. But let me also state this, and that is that these conservatives have no right at this point to say the things they're saying, because they've always talked about a well-armed society being a polite society. They've always spoken of that. By their own standards, this guy, Carmelo Anthony, stood his ground. Unless he was knowingly trespassing in a tent or under a tent, or several people were asked to move, and he was only one of several that were asked, then he stood his ground. I'm not aware of any violent past that Carmelo Anthony has, because if he had any violent convictions from before, they would have been brought to light already. So this means this was his first violent offense. He said he did it to protect himself, and he asked how it was, or he asked how Austin Metcalf was doing, because he didn't realize that Metcalf died. The white conservatives can't say anything about him being in the wrong for having a knife. He was being nice by their standards, especially in Texas, for having a knife and not having a gun. And he was a teenager. I don't even know if he was old enough under state, let alone federal law, to carry a weapon, a firearm, I should say. So he had a knife. What do they mean he had no business having a knife? Would they have said that about the Metcalfs? We can talk about how he overreacted. And honestly, Carmelo Anthony's not going to get away with anything, even if he's innocent, even if everything he did was in self-defense, even if he's completely innocent. If it was purely racial, he was singled out, told to leave, said, I'm not moving, it's raining, whatever the case is. If that's what it was with Carmelo Anthony, and he's innocent, he's still not going to get away with it. He's going to pay dearly, as if he had killed a white guy. The only thing that he would have to pay more dearly for would be if he had both violated and then done the same thing to a white woman. And the only thing could have been worse than that is if the victim had been a white child, small child. And as it is, they're going to paint him as an adult that's vicious and aggressive, and they're going to paint his victim as a child. He's not going to get away with anything, even if he's innocent. Keep that in mind. I also want you guys to be ready when your white colleagues with whom you have to work come to you and talk about these sorts of things, to be able to fire back and to say, listen, this time the same rules did not work for him. He picked a fight with somebody, and the person with whom he picked a fight was armed. And if it's wrong to take people's pistols away, then it's wrong to say that so-and-so can't carry a knife. And if nobody had said anything to him, he would not have pulled it, and that's all we know. Nobody even knew he had one until these guys confronted him. And we can debate about how badly he overreacted all we want. We are not going to make an apology for what Carmelo Anthony did, even if it turns out that he was just itching for a fight that day, because that wasn't us. I hope this helps. Thank you for listening, as always. Black Card, Black Mind, Blackout, Assalamu Alaikum, Black Heterosexual, Non-Select Male Power, because they don't like it, Black Patriarchy until extinction and Judgment Day. Thank you for flying with us again here on Jet Black Air, where the phrase Jet Black is also a verb. Keep jetting black with us till the wings and the wheels fall off. Gender, justice forever.